everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Today's the day, 27th of July, and we're combining winter barley. It's coming on nicely. It's good to be started. We had an inch of rain on Saturday and Sunday, so we had to give it a few days to dry off again, but we're up in action here. This is Orwell winter barley, and it has a few oats through it from an oat crop 2 years ago that went badly flat, and in the ugly patch you might see a few heads of wheat as well. But all in all, it's coming off quite well. Moisture is about 14%. Yield will do better when the field's complete, but we haven't calibrated the monitor either yet, but it is somewhere around that 3.5 ton, I reckon, going on what acres is cut and how many loads are taken off. It's good to be getting it cut dry and straight into the store. Hopefully not have to dry it then. More mountains in the background. Just unload into the trailer here. It's running real quick, plenty of dust. It's making not too bad a sample. It's a wee bit of chaff from the oats coming through, but other than that, all looking pretty good. So we work with a 18 ton H2 Hearn trailer, and it's on the 7499. We're working here with a John Deere 9780i Hillmaster with a 25-foot cut. Doing a pretty good job so far. This is the second season we've had it. It is a 2005 machine for what we're doing and for all the hours we'll put on it each year. Hopefully it'll do us a good few years. Fingers crossed. complete. Good afternoon, day 2 of harvest. So we're in our second field of winter barley here. Just got it opened up. But a wee mizzle of rain this morning, which held us back a wee bit there, but it's dried off nicely now. It's dull and dry. It's just coming in. It's the second field, but we only have 2 fields of winter barley, so hopefully it stays dry. We'll get to do the field tomorrow. Quite a steep field this, and the camera will probably not do it justice, but if I pan straight around, I think just looking into the hill, always does quite well, but lies the right way for the sun, which is handy. Day 2, the only issue we really had so far is this monitor here. These graphs here for our grains that's gone out over. Just not quite that good. It's reading 0, but halfway through the day yesterday it cut out. So we're trying to work with that, but up until that the settings were working okay, so we'll just continue at the same speed. And getting on with it, we'll worry about fixing it tomorrow or the next day when we get this field cut, and we'll have a breakdown for a week before the oats are ready. steep bit here. We use the telegraph pole as a guide for what is straight. There's a good old hill here. But because we're in a Hillmaster, 4-wheel drive, self-leveling, we don't have any issues with that. And you'll hopefully see here what happens whenever we're turning into the ends and getting in and out there, how the combine levels itself to the contours of the land. Obviously there is a limiting point, but the header during the cutting follows the contours of the ground, and then the cab coming behind runs level, so that the material or the crop going through the combine header sits nice and level and feeds evenly through, so that there's as little chance as possible of it going out over the back, because too much of it's on one side of the combine. Right. But here basically everything's a hill, as the scenery shows. Last pass of winter barley. Day 3. If we're going to get any straw baled, that's going to have to clear pretty quickly. So the fog's cleared away. The sun did come out for a couple of hours there and help dry off that dampness on the top of the row. It's disappeared now, but everything is nice and dry. There's dust flying. So we're out baling the barley straw. I get to listen to that beeper every 30 seconds. So the baler basically is spinning tines there, picks the straw up, pushes it into the baler, and then there's a circular chamber full of rollers that spins around and creates a circular bale. And as the bale fills up and gets tighter, the wee pressure gauge will rise. The buzzer beeps to tell me that it's created a bale, and it's in automatic mode, so it automatically starts putting net on the bale. The bale's now netted, so open the door, let it out, and on to the next one. Mechanism for netting the bales is really quite smart, but fairly simple at the same time. Keep an eye out for the wee belt up there in the corner. It's going to trigger into action there. That spins the roller, which pulls the net in to get it started, and then the other side has a wee spiral that spins, and that is your blade cutting the net. We just watch for the wee cog starting to turn up in the right hand corner, and it lifts a wee metal blade, and as it's set to a number of turns, when the turn's complete, drops over the end, the blade goes in and cuts the net. And the simple bit about it is, when you open the door, it simply pushes that metal barrel back up over, and that's the net blade reset. Ticking along here nicely at 4 miles an hour or 6.5k, 1600 revs in the 540 economy shaft. So we're not burning loads of diesel, even though we are on a hill. Sometimes a bigger tractor's not always a disadvantage in terms of fuel and efficiency, because we can turn down the engine revs and still maintain the RPM and a 540 on the baler, keep us ticking along nicely, whereas a smaller tractor would have to be running at 2200 RPM to get up and down these hills without losing the RPMs to the baler. I do like baling behind the rotary combine. It does mash up the straw a wee bit more, but it leaves a perfect width of bale for the pickup of the baler. Just feeding in the full width. Don't have a big lump in the middle, so it works out nicely then that your bales have a lovely square edge on them, and they sit nice and uniform without having to weave in and out from side to side to make sure the edges of the bales are filled. So from that point of view, it's a really nice job to work. Just drive down the centre of the road, no real hassle, and you have a nice uniform bale. Last pass, the first field done. On to the next one. The spits are coming on the window, and it's the very last row. We've just been very lucky here with timing, getting this field. Thankfully, everything's gone smoothly. About 9.5 bales to the acre. Trying to get a price out of anybody for what it's worth. It's proving very difficult. There's a load of straw away in the distance too, collected and all. 2 load. This last row bale, and that'll be the winter barley harvest complete. So it's looking like it's about 22-23 pounds a bale out of the field. To be honest, if they don't want to pay that, it can be chopped or it can sit there, because you only sell your product once. And when you take the cost of potash, baling the straw, applying the fertilizer, it's a lot easier to turn the chopper on in the combine, put it straight back in all in one go, and that would keep the potash levels right. Wouldn't be losing it out of the fields and then having to put a lot of expense to replacing it. The rain's coming over the Dramara Mountains there. We did forecast it, so thankfully we got there. Job done. Thanks for watching, and we'll hopefully catch up with you next week when we'll be cutting oats. If you have enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up or subscribe to the channel. If you have any comments on what we're doing, harvesting these crops, please leave it down below and we'll try and get back to you.